Hey guys, what's up? Shin0525 here. Doing another New Year's resolution. I beat another game, so here's the video about it. Anyway, the game I beat was Bravely Default for Nintendo 3DS. I actually played it on my AYN Odin, and the reason why that's important is because I used a bunch of cheat codes. Mainly, I just gave all my characters max stats from the start, just so it would make the game a lot easier and I could just kind of like breeze through it, which did help because I looked up, the game takes about 60 hours to beat on like a normal playthrough, and I was able to beat it in like 30. So I saved myself 30 hours for doing that, which is good because I have a whole list of games I need to get through. So, yeah, I beat Bravely Default, absolutely loved it. I thought that game is fantastic. One thing I really liked about it is the fact that it kind of feels like a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy III on the DS and PSP, that like 3D remake. My lights, like, I try to get some good lighting, and then it's like I put one on the bottom here, and now it looks like the fucking like Dragon Balls on the side. Okay, I'll turn this way, try to show the game a little bit more. Again, oh, and by the way, I'm setting up my room, so hopefully you can see all my games behind me on my shelf here. So hopefully I'll make more like vlog style videos behind this. I'm actually waiting on another shelf to come in and then to put even more games. So, but anyway, back to Bravely Default. That game was excellent. It felt like a spiritual successor to, like I said, like the 3D remake of Final Fantasy III, and I absolutely adore that game. So the fact that like it feels like a spiritual successor is like really cool. Other than that, the story was amazing. Like, I was actually blown away with how good the story is. I'm actually a little disappointed because Square Enix published this game, and it's just like, you made this game, how come you can't make a story this good for Final Fantasy? Why do you have to wait for like Bravely Default, like a little spin-off game? It's like, why can't you have this quality of writing in like a Final Fantasy game? Oh, and also there's like a little spoiler I want to talk about, but I'll say it at the very end of the video. Yeah, the game was great. The battle mechanics were actually really good because the game's named after its battle mechanics because it's a turn-based game, but you could actually, so since it's like turn-based, like traditional Final Fantasies or like Pokemon, but the cool thing about it is you could either brave or default. So defaulting basically allows you to store up your turn, and you can store up to 4 turns. And then braving will allow you to use those turns you stored up. But what's cool is you can brave right at the start and go into like a deficit. So like if you brave in like 1 turn and used all 4 of them, you do 4 actions in that 1 turn. So that's what's so cool about the game. Like gameplay, it's really like a really good mechanic. And honestly, I wish more games kind of adopted like a similar type style to that. Because I really did appreciate those mechanics. Story was amazing. Again, I absolutely love the story. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is, but it is phenomenal. And it's really cool. It's like really clever. Little things that are like kind of bother me about it is like you basically play the game like 4 times. So the way like the story is kind of structured is like you go through the game like awakening the 4 crystals like normally, and then like that's kind of like the main game, but after you do that 1 time, you kind of go like back in time, kind of, sort of, and then have to do it again. But there's like slight different changes and things like that, but they basically make you replay the game 4 times, or 5 times, I think, which is a little ridiculous, but the story's good and it doesn't feel as tedious as it sounds. The characters were awesome. I liked a lot of the villains. A lot of the villains were kind of like one note, but if you do all the side quests, they really like flesh each one of them out. And then, what else? The main cast was great. My favorite character was Ringabel, hands down. Like, what a great character. And there's just a bunch of cool concepts to, the game too. Like, for example, with Ringabel, in the start of the game he has amnesia, which is like a common trope. But what is cool about Ringabel is he has a notebook that depicts the future like events that have yet to happen, and you find out why in the story. And that's just a really cool concept. A character that has amnesia but has a book about the future. So like that's like such a cool concept, and the game is like filled with like concepts and ideas like that. It's actually really good. So I highly recommend playing Bravely Default. It's a super cool game, and like the story is really well written. It even uses because it's on the 3DS, so they have like the Street Pass thing where it's like the social aspect like the Nintendo 3DS had. They even incorporate that into the story in a cool way. So overall, it was a fantastic game. Lastly, I want to talk about a spoiler. So if you don't want the game to be spoiled for you, because this is a pretty big one, like stop watching the video now. I highly recommend it. But the spoiler I want to talk about is there's like a little fairy companion that like is with you throughout the game, and she's actually the bad guy at the end of the game. And what was so cool about it is you eventually like play the game, you eventually like find out, and then after you find out she's really the bad guy, when you go to the title screen, the title of the game is Bravely Default, and then the subtitle is Where Fairies Fly, and this fairy's name is Aerie. And after you make that realization of that she's actually the bad one, when you go to the title screen, I'll say Bravely Default, Where the Fairies Fly, and then some of the letters in the subtitle Where the Fairies Fly will turn red and disappear, and then it's just left with Aerie Lies. It was so fucking cool. That is so cool. I don't know, I just saw that little detail. I haven't heard anyone ever talk about it, but I thought that was so cool. So anyway guys, that's pretty much my thoughts on Bravely Default. I hope you enjoyed this little vlog video. I know it went on a little bit long, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway guys, I will make another one when I finish another game. It's probably going to be Jet Set Radio Future, because I'm currently playing that right now. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, thanks, bye. Later.